The reason I haven't taken it, and the reason you don't hear more about it, is that Ligand Pharmaceuticals, the company who developed the drug, they ended up pulling it after, I want to say, one rat trial and one mouse trial, where all of the rats and mice involved developed tumors. What's up, guys? Before we get into the video, just wanted to let you know that I have a brand new coaching program, and I'm looking for 5 motivated individuals who are interested in transforming their bodies and getting their health better than it has ever been. So if you are interested in working with me one-on-one to crush your fitness goals once and for all, click the link in the description, fill out the application form, and if it looks like we're a good fit, we can hop on a strategy call and get you started. Regardless of whether or not you do that, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. What's up, guys? In this video, this is going to be a very casual video. Not going to teach you anything, just going to shoot the breeze a little bit while I sip on this. What is this called? Reed's All Natural Zero Sugar Extra Ginger Beer. Non-alcoholic. So in this video, I just want to talk a little bit about something that I plan on doing in the near future. Maybe it's interesting to you, maybe it's not. In about a month, I'm going to be starting a cycle of Trenbolone enanthate and GW501516, otherwise known as cardarine. So these are 2 compounds that I have researched a lot and have decided to dip my toes into the water. So for those of you who don't know what Tren is, or Trenbolone, otherwise known as Tren, or GW, cardarine, I don't know, I just like to say GW, I think it sounds cooler. I'll break those down for you really quick. Tren is it's kind of known as like, or argued to be, and there's some, whatever argument here, right? But like, generally people think of Tren as like the most effective steroid out there, right? Like if you grow the fastest, it's just like the most, well, okay, to be fair, I said that and I already know that people are like, well, actually, so Tren is like the most, you don't necessarily grow the fastest, right? Like things like Deca, for example, you might grow faster, or D-bol, you might grow faster. But Tren will help you add a lot, like you'll change your physique the fastest, right? And maybe I've been watching too many More Plates, More Dates and Greg Doucette videos, but I feel like, I talk a lot about nutrition and food and fucking fasting and shit like that, but in my opinion, that stuff is very, like I've kind of said it all, you know what I mean? Like how many more ways can I say it? Like how many more videos can I fucking make about like eat chicken and don't eat fucking donuts? Like it's just kind of old, you know what I mean? So I want to kind of get more into the PED space on YouTube, which I think is much more interesting to me. I feel like it's like next level, right? And even like nootropics, right? That's kind of like, it's like supplements, nootropics, SARMs, other PEDs, and then you have the big daddy of them all, which is really like anabolic steroids. So that is kind of the direction that I want to go in, and that's not why I'm gonna try Tren and GW. That's kind of like these 2 things are just kind of concurrent. It's like I'm more interested in that kind of thing. Those are the videos that I personally prefer to watch, and that's just the type of stuff that I find the most interesting because they're just so effective, right? So one of the things with Tren, like you change your physique very quickly. It's, I don't want to say easy, but assuming all other things are equal, you pack on a lot of very dense muscle. It gives you a very lean look, a very grainy look, and it just makes you more, it gives you a very hard look, right? Now, the thing with Tren is that there's a lot of really bad side effects that, to be honest with you, is kind of one of the reasons why I want to try it. I hope I don't anyway, whatever, I'm not gonna say it, but I hope this doesn't come back to bite me in the butt. But some of the side effects of Tren, and there are a lot of side effects, and you'll see a lot of people who will say, don't do Tren, it's not worth it, you should never try it, it's really bad for you. But of course, in the same breath, they'll say like, oh my God, I had these crazy gains and I've never built so much muscle and like my life was amazing, whatever. So I still want to try it, right? So basically what it does, it makes you, like gives you a lot of, helps you build a lot of like very dense muscle, changes your physique very quickly, And the trade-off with that is that there's a lot of really bad side effects. So for example, number one, you get something called tren cough, right? Which, as far as I understand, is like right after you do your injection of tren, you get this crazy cough where it feels like you're breathing in fucking smoke and you can't breathe and you feel like you're gonna die. It lasts for like 1 minute and then you're fine, right? So that's one kind of weird side effect and nobody really knows why that happens. Another side effect is that it makes you, as far as I understand, it makes you very efficient at metabolizing carbs and using glycogen as a fuel source. So what ends up happening is that because it's so efficient, like mind-bogglingly efficient, a lot of the times what will happen is you'll go hypoglycemic and you'll start sweating and you'll just like feel like complete shit because all of a sudden you've like burned through all your carbs and you're just like all of a sudden start sweating and it's kind of scary, right? So that's another thing, right? Another issue is that you have trouble sleeping, right? You get trensomnia, they call it. Now, I have a lot of sleep aids, let's call them. I take a lot of melatonin, I take magnesium. I'm not sure if I will experience that. I also don't plan on taking a very high dose, but it's just something to keep in mind. Another side effect is that because tren is so androgenic, right? I'm not sure of the exact ratio, right? Like androgenic to anabolic, on which all of these anabolic steroids are kind of judged. But the androgenic to, like, it's very androgenic is basically the point. I think it's 3 times as androgenic as testosterone. So basically what does anabolic mean? It means that you are like building muscle, right? It's like the good thing, like everybody wants to build muscle, everybody wants better bone density, everybody wants all of the like good effects of steroids, but what they don't want is the androgenic effects, which are, androgen, or andro means male. So it makes you more manly, right? Now, well, that's not necessarily a good way of putting it, but basically it makes you more, it'll give you a lot more side effects that extremely high testosterone will give you. Things like hair loss, things like high blood pressure, things like, a negative lipid profile where your LDL, bad cholesterol, is too high, your HDL, or good cholesterol, is too low. And these things are, I guess, okay to have for a short period of time, but over an extended period of time, it can lead to really bad health problems and an early death. So, sounds great, right? That said, another thing is that libido gets cranked through the roof and it makes you very aggressive. What people say is that tren will turn you into more of the person that you already are. So to be honest with you, that's kind of one of the main reasons why I'm so tempted to do it. It's like, who am I really? I'll discover who I really am by taking tren. Not really, I'm kind of half joking, but I'm kind of not, you know what I mean? Also makes you very paranoid. Anyway, there's a lot of really crazy side effects that will kind of fuck with your head mentally. That said, like I mentioned in the beginning, there are a few considerable benefits, like how it changes your physique, which is really, I guess, the only benefit now that I think about it. All right, so that's about tren. Now, GW501516 cardarine is, I plan on taking that alongside tren. Now, GW, basically what it does is, so it's marketed as like a fat burner, kind of. Not like a stimulant fat burner, like caffeine, for example, or I don't know, meth or something like that. But what GW does is it makes it easier for you to do what's it called, fatty acid oxidation, or fatty acid oxidation. Makes it easier for you to use fat as fuel, apparently without necessarily going into ketosis, right? So this is just my bro science interpretation. There are some studies on GW, but not a lot, because the drug was eventually discontinued by Ligand Pharmaceuticals, which I'll go into in a second. But what it seems to do is it seems to kind of bypass the whole deplete your glycogen to get into ketosis bottleneck that prevents a lot of people from doing keto, self included, because you can't really, keto's a bitch, man. It's fucking hard. You feel like shit, you have a headache, you're fucking moody, your workouts are shit, and GW seems to kind of bypass that. So what people are reporting is that it's easier for them to, like, they burn a lot more fat even when they increase calories and even keeping their workouts roughly the same. Now, another thing about GW is that you're not going to keep your workouts 100% the same. A lot of people take it to increase their cardio or to enable them to have a higher work capacity when it comes to training. And that's one of the reasons why it's banned on the WADA list, because it makes it so much easier to do cardio, right? You can do, and this is just from what I've read, I've never actually taken it, but from what I understand, it makes it like a bazillion times easier to do cardio. You can push harder, you can go longer, you don't feel taxed at all. And what I hear a lot of people say, this exact phrase, they say, I always feel like I have another gear left. Meaning they can always increase the intensity, they can always run a little bit faster, and they can always, like, they just don't get tired. Other good things that GW does, and you know, they say the same thing for like actual like resistance training. Like they say, like, I did, you know, my workouts were like, you know, 50% longer, and I felt like when I was finished, like I could do the whole thing over again. So it seems like a very interesting compound to me, and one that I would like to experiment with. Now, the reason that I have not, and the reason why you don't hear more about it, even though it sounds so amazing. Oh, and another thing that it does, it like slows your resting heart rate, reduces your blood pressure, it improves your lipid profile, reduces the LDL, increases the HDL, which is why I want to take it alongside Tren. The reason I haven't taken it, and the reason you don't hear more about it, is that Ligand Pharmaceuticals, the company who developed the drug, they ended up pulling it after I want to say one rat trial and one mouse trial, where all of the rats and mice involved developed tumors. So like they tested it at different doses, basically like 3 milligrams. Was it 3 milligrams per kilogram, or was it? I think it was 3 milligrams per kilogram, not 3 milligrams. The 3 milligram dose. I think it was 3 milligrams per kilogram, right? From 3 milligrams per kilogram all the way up to, I want to say 350 milligrams per kilogram, which is a fucking insane dose. But when you're testing a new drug, you want to determine how toxic it is and how toxic it is at which levels. So you're going to underdose and also overdose it. Now, you would think, right? No, okay, so basically after these studies came out, basically what happened is they pulled the drug. They're like, all right, this shit is great, but it fucking causes cancer and everything, so we're not gonna do it anymore. So you would think that nobody would want to take it and it wouldn't be on the market at all, and it would just be really bad and fucking nobody would ever deal with it. So the issue with these studies, there's a couple issues, right? Number one, the dosages that were used, if you convert them to a human dose, and it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, right? There's this like special equation that you're supposed to do when you convert animal doses to human doses, because animals have different metabolism than human when it comes to drugs. The dose is much higher than what you would actually want to use. That's number one. I want to say that the lowest dose that they used that caused problems in rats was the equivalent of 40 milligrams for somebody who weighs 86 kilos, which is what I weigh right now. All right, so I figured out the conversion and I did it, and the equivalent would be, it's either 40 or 60. I don't remember, this was a couple of days ago, but let's say it's 40. Let's go on the low side. So I don't plan on taking 40 milligrams. I'm going to take 10. And then another issue is that these, both in the rat study and the mice study, they dosed these rats for 104 weeks, right? So they dosed them for fucking 2 years. So that's a fucking long ass time, right? Rats and mice normally only, like, a lot of them don't even live for 2 years, you know? So if you're, let's say they live 3 years, and a 3-year-old rat is a fucking ancient rat. And also mice, like mice don't live fucking 3 years. So it's basically where they are, you know, if you want to equate this to human years, let's say your average human lives, I don't know, 70 years, for example, right? Let's be generous, let's say 70 years for your average person. They essentially gave, and let's say the average rat lives 3 years, which is fucking ancient for a rat, like I said. They were giving these rats and mice the drug for 2/3 of their life, right? So it's like saying you're giving it to a human for fucking 40 years, and you're giving them a fairly high dose. And then at the end of it, they develop cancer, right? So like that's the initial set of issues that I have with the warnings against this drug. Also seems fairly sudden. The reason that Ligand Pharmaceuticals pulled the drug seems a little bit early after just 2 studies. And there were some human trials for GW as well, and those studies, there was no incidence of cancer reported. Which brings me to my next point, which is that this drug has been on the market for a very long time. Ever since I heard about SARMs, which was like, I don't know, 8 years at this point, like at least, GW has been around, and there have not been, as far as I know, nobody has come out and said like, I got cancer after doing GW. And when stuff is on the market like this and people are taking it, it's being bought and sold, people are taking it. Nobody has come out and said that they fucking got cancer from it. Like, you know, what are the odds that it actually does cause cancer? And it was not some sort of error in, you know, the preparation of the solution or the set of rats or mice that they got, or some other variable that we don't necessarily know about. So regarding this one, I'm going to take my chances. I don't plan on running it for 40 years, although maybe I will. I don't know. I don't think I will though. I did order a couple of grams of it, so I will be starting with a 10 milligram dose. And yeah, I just plan on, you know, upping my cardio, keeping my cardio consistent during the time while I'm on tren. Hopefully it will help my lipid profile and it'll help my blood pressure during this time. So that is basically what I'm doing. Excuse me. I also ordered some T-ball, Turanabol, which is what they call dry D-ball, or which is sometimes called dry D-ball. This is what John Jones popped for. Was that like 2 years ago or something like that? Basically, I don't want to get too into it, but it's also an anabolic steroid that I want to say is a DHT derivative, although I could be wrong about that. Is it a DHT derivative? I'm not really sure. I need to look that up again. But basically, you feel good. You can train like forever on it, apparently, and it has a lot of like it leans you out. You build. It's similar to Anavar, right? Except the difference is that Anavar is safe for females, and Turanabol you probably would not want to take if you're a female because there is some androgenicity there, and you'll develop some male characteristics if you take too much or you take it for too long. So, pro tip: I, however, am not a female, and will be experimenting with it. I don't know if I will like it, but I want to give it a try. Cool, so that is my little update on that. What do you guys think about that? I turned in my natty card a long time ago, but I thought it would be interesting to experiment a little bit with some tren and with some GW. So let me know what you guys think about that. Leave me a comment. Peace.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all comments are appreciated as they do help the algorithm. If you are interested in applying for my brand new coaching program, click the link in the description, fill out the application form, and if it looks like a good fit, I will contact you and we can hop on a strategy call and get you in the best shape of your life ASAP. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time. Peace.